Hi, I'm Ebbie Nakhjavani, CEO of EKN Development Group in Newport Beach, California. I came to Rochester, Minnesota 5 years ago to pursue medical destination hospitality development. We have 80 million in operating assets, over $120 million in construction projects, and over $1 billion in development. When I first came to Rochester, actually, I really didn't know what to expect. It was my first time in Rochester. 5 years ago when I arrived there, I drove from Minneapolis to Rochester, and when I arrived there, I actually found that it was a very pleasant city, great neighborhoods. I'm a real estate developer, so I drove through a lot of the different parts of the town, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised. In the restaurants, interaction with all of the people at Rochester, I found the people very friendly, the city very welcoming. And then it continued. I went to the planning and zoning department, met with the different various people at the city, and they were all great to work with. They were all very welcoming. They explained the process. They welcomed me as a developer. And really, I think that's what really brought me back. It was a sense of that I can do something in this city, that I can actually build a project in this city. And so this feeling and experience actually improved every time I went back to the city, where after a few weeks and a few visits, I really felt like I belonged in Rochester, that I had been a resident of Rochester for a long time. Developed many, many great relationships with local businesses. I actually became very good friends with some of the hotel owners locally, and really felt that this was a great city to work in. We were fortunate enough to find 3 sites to acquire. One, we acquired the existing Holiday Inn and converted it to a Hotel Indigo. The second site was located at the American Legion next to the Mayo Clinic Proton Beam Cancer Therapy Center. This site was a small site, but there were no other hotels in the vicinity of that Mayo Clinic facility. And the third site was across the street from St. Mary's Hospital, which is a trauma center for Mayo Clinic. And it has a very unique market. And in that market, the guests and loved ones for the patients don't tend to stay in downtown. They tend to stay right adjacent to the St. Mary's Hospital. The brand next to St. Mary's is a Even Staybridge dual-branded hotel. We actually combined those 2 brands for a reason. It is a transitory format along with the extended stay format. Because of the nature of the type of guest that is staying near that St. Mary's Hospital, it allows people to check in as a transitory, and if they need to extend their stays, they can actually transfer from transitory format to an extended stay format, which has a kitchenette and a little living room and a dining space, and for extended stay reasons. We actually came into the city not familiar at all with how the city works. The DMC has a very streamlined format where they coordinate all of the activities with all of the city departments, as well as the DMC and the Economic Development Group, and they help developers go through the process very efficiently and effectively. The DMC is very pro-growth, and it was actually quite a nice surprise for us. We've developed all around the country, especially significantly in the West Coast, in areas where development is very tough and challenging. The DMC has very specific forward-thinking goals and objectives that they have developed. It's been done in connection with and collaboration with University of Minnesota. These guidelines allow developers to immediately understand what those objectives are, and the DMC actually helps developers really find their way and work their way through the various agencies and departments so that the development project can be implemented efficiently. The DMC also has the DMC Economic Development Agency, which works very closely with developers and investors that are working in Rochester to develop projects, and they are very influential in assisting developers finance projects. The DMC has a very structured approach in terms of helping developers maneuver through the various agencies, including planning and zoning, economic development group, and permitting process. When we acquired the site at the American Legion to build a hotel, almost everyone told us that that site was not going to work, including our own architect. We were able to fit 175 keys of an extended stay Hyatt house on that project, but we faced a lot of different challenges. We were adjacent to a railroad track, we were adjacent to two public streets, and DMC played a very significant role in helping us get through all of the processes through the city, understand the city's objectives, and get through Planning Commission and the City Council while complying with all the regulations and meeting the local objectives. Our site at St. Mary's at the old Virgil's gas station had its own challenges. Obviously, we were on a very major street corridor on 2nd Street, and there were a few studies that were done in terms of how that site would be developed. The DMC helped us navigate through all of the different requirements. Some were created many, many years ago, and then they were subsequently updated a few times. So really understanding how those documents work together was a very major task. The DMC worked as our partner, and they helped us figure out exactly what needed to be done to make that project a reality, yet be able to implement everything that needed to be done for the future expansion of the 2nd Street corridor. Without their help, I think it would have been very difficult for a developer to come in and decipher through all the myriads of regulations and requirements to build the project. We were able to secure additional funding for the financing of the project, which helped with the implementation of the project, and also from DMC's perspective, it helped align the project with their objectives and goals for the development of the city. In the last 3 years, we've started construction on 600 hotel rooms. We've created 800 construction jobs, over 130 permanent jobs, and have invested over $130 million in the Rochester, Minnesota economy.